and restore the Speedway for all sorts of events. But it was 2 weeks ago when I was in Wilkesboro at the race and saw about 10,000 fans come out on a Tuesday night, and saw a lot of smiling faces, saw a lot of race cars and the lights and this opportunity that could be. And in talking with NASCAR and talking with Dale Jr., talking with other drivers, we saw an opportunity. And with that success, with that momentum, with the light in the eyes of all the NASCAR fans out there in the stands, today I'm really proud to announce that along with NASCAR, the NASCAR All-Star Race will be hosted at North Wilkesboro Speedway in 2023. Now, obviously, this is going to take a lot of work. We've already got people there working now. We have a tremendous group of individuals on our team, led by Steve Swift and our contractors and people in the county. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of details that we won't have today, but we're gonna get there. I expect this to be a NASCAR All-Star Week of activities. It'll be something that people want to come from all over the country and enjoy NASCAR All-Star Week at North Wilkesboro Speedway, to enjoy the culture, the festivities, the history. It is really the birthplace of stock car racing when it comes to those cars that were running moonshine in the hills to then racing on racetracks around the country. It all started up in Wilkes County, and we're excited to revive it, bring it back, and to have the NASCAR All-Star Race next year. So with that, thank you, Governor. Thank you, Steve O'Donnell. Thank you, Dale. Appreciate your support, and thank you, State Legislature, for your support. We've got a lot of fun ahead of us, and this is just the beginning. Thank you.
Governor Roy Cooper, State of North Carolina.
So I'm glad that I am the only one appropriately attired. Of course, Dale Jr. can wear anything he wants. You look just great, Dale. Just to give you a little background here, what you see is not all. This is North Wilkesboro Speedway jacket I received back in May when we celebrated the reopening, and rebirth of the North Wilkesboro Speedway. But I had on at the time my Winston All-Star shirt, where I was the Grand Marshal in 2000 and saw Dale Jr. beat his dad and Dale Jarrett, a triple Dale day. So that shirt that I wore, this shirt that I wore in May, got me this coat. So I'm figuring that wearing both of them today, I might be able to score 2 tickets to this All-Star race. Is what I'm hoping. What I'm hoping. I told them today that I did not want to be standing out front of North Wilkesboro Speedway with a need to sign. So I'm going to work on that. This is a great day for North Carolina. Whether you care about racing or not, this means economic revival and more money in the pockets of everyday North Carolinians. We are the birthplace of NASCAR. You're going to see this Moonshine to Motorsports Heritage Trail that's going to bring people from all over the world to see the history of racing and NASCAR. And what a better place to concentrate it than the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I remember when I was campaigning for office and was in Wilkes County, and I did spend time with Terry Parsons. And although a lot of people were sort of resigned that, well, you know, it's never really going to come back to any of these speedways, Terry Parsons says, we're going to revitalize the North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's going to happen in our lifetime. And she's not the only one who kept the faith in Wilkes County. And when you go into the North Wilkesboro Speedway, it's almost like a cathedral. When you think about the history of racing and the talent that has been there and the excitement that has been generated and the families that have been brought together and the tourism dollars that have been brought in, it means so much. You know, when you work together, you can do a lot. We've got these legislators here today, and I'm grateful for them. Back in 2019, we got this idea that we ought to start investing in revitalizing some of our racetracks in North Carolina because we thought that it would be something that we could do. So we put a little bit of that in our budget and didn't work out that time. But as we came out of this pandemic and we had federal money coming down, we thought about ways that we could revitalize the economy. And I'm grateful for the hard work of the people in my administration. We also have Pam Cashwell here, who's our Secretary of Administration. But Charlie Perouse, who is maybe one of the biggest racing fans ever, he's our budget director. And we talked about this and Charlie's passion for putting this money in the budget that would help revitalize North Wilkesboro, the Rock, and many other speedways across North Carolina. General Assembly members agreed that this was a great idea. Democrats and Republicans came together because we knew what this would mean to our economy, to our culture, and to our history. And so this is an exciting day. What we've already done, actually racing and having Dale Jr. race in North Wilkesboro just a few weeks ago, that just boggles the mind that even happened. But to think about the All-Star Race in North Wilkesboro, that's almost beyond comprehension. And I want to commend Marcus, you and the team, NASCAR, who's here, for taking the chance to do this. Because they're used to doing it in huge racetracks with lots of people, and we know it's going to be limited seating in North Wilkesboro. So this is rolling the dice a little bit. But I think it's going to pay off many, many times over because fans that grew up around racing and love tracks like North Wilkesboro will know that you care about it and know that you recognize the history and how important it is to come back to roots. And I think the people, not only the people of North Carolina will appreciate it, but racing fans all over the world will. And there will be people who come back to Wilkes County just to see where that All-Star race was run in May of 2023. That's a big deal. I'm grateful for all of the work, the bipartisan effort, the nonprofits, the people in racing, the businesses who've all come together to make this happen today. I'm excited. Again, what a great day for North Carolina. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite up to the podium Steve O'Donnell, Chief Operating Officer for NASCAR.
It was very well said, Governor. And I want to start off by thanking the entire state of North Carolina. There's no more welcoming state where we race. It is our home, the roots of our racing. And if you go back and you look at NASCAR, really over the last 4 or 5 years, we've had a real commitment to evolve our schedule. And what did that mean? We wanted to grow our sport. We wanted to be more inclusive. We went out to the Coliseum this year. We took a big risk. We had 70% new fans. I was in Chicago last night where we're going to race a street course. Tons of excitement. But as you look at evolving your schedule, you can't forget about your past. And so when we thought about our 75th anniversary, where can we race? What would have the most meaningful impact on the schedule? If you could marry up a new event at Chicago on the streets, which has never been done before, and have somebody go out and have the ability to win there, And then if you could bring the All-Star Race to North Wilkesboro Speedway, and I don't think Dale may know this, but I don't think any of our current drivers have raced there since it's closed. So another first. If you can run both of those races in your 75th year, what a testament to the sport. Embracing our roots, which to us is also a path to the future. So I really want to say thank you to the state of North Carolina, Marcus, for your leadership, for getting this done. I'd echo what Marcus said. There's a lot of questions that we'll be able to answer along the way, but that's what we do. We put on big events. We're used to racing at North Wilkesboro, and what will be neat about this is this will be an experience. I'm sure there won't be as many people as maybe there was in Texas, but I guarantee you there'll be triple the number who said I was there or who wanted to be there and thought it was a tremendous experience because it's going to be really cool. And I want to applaud Dale Jr. for his vision and his passion for just the short tracks, the lost speedways. He brings that link to the past that we haven't had. And candidly, we've lost our way a little bit, but you're seeing that come back. And this is going to be a tremendous, tremendous event. And you look at technology and how that's played a role in this, which is really interesting. The only reason we were able to race in Chicago was because of iRacing. And we went out there, we mapped the course, and we were able to say this can be done. And you heard it today that iRacing is what really started this conversation and delivered again. And so that technology, I think, is going to be used over and over again, not only for North Wilkesboro, but there's a lot of other tracks we can pursue. But just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone at NASCAR for embracing us, for embracing this event. I can't wait to get there. It was my second Cup race I ever attended. Might or might not have sampled a little moonshine, so I'm looking forward to going back and having some fun. But it's going to be a tremendous event. Can't wait to get going and really appreciate all of you being here as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. And now I'd like to invite Kannapolis, North Carolina native, NASCAR team owner, NBC analyst, and winner of the 2000 All-Star Race at CMS, and a big fan of North Wilkesboro, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I appreciate it. It's hard to believe we're actually standing here doing this. And, I've had a lot of conversations with Marcus over the last couple of years about North Wilkesboro, and I don't think either one of us really expected us to be at this place today and making these types of decisions for the racetrack. But I'm just excited. I'm excited because I feel like that the racetrack can be so much for the community, so much for Western North Carolina, not as just a racetrack. There's so many other opportunities as a multi-event space for that place, and we want it to really benefit the community as much as possible, and racing's a small part of that pie. I will say that when I went to the race last Wednesday, and we had an amazing event over there, and I know some of you were there, I felt something at a racetrack that I hadn't felt in a long, long time, and it was the true joy and the love that you just have for being there. Whether you're a competitor or a fan, you could see it on everybody's face. Marcus uses the word grace. We got a lot of grace because of the amenities weren't up to par or up to our standards, but it was okay. Everybody there didn't mind a little traffic. They didn't mind, some of the situations that we had to experience, but everybody had so much joy and happiness for just being there. And I think that will be the experience that I have every time I go back to North Wilkesboro. There's something about it. It's just got a special place in our history, and I'm so excited to see what can happen beyond this. Not with the All-Star Race is a great thing, but going forward, what North Wilkesboro can continue to contribute to our lives and to our families' lives. So I know that a lot of drivers will be excited to know that the intention is to keep the original asphalt. That was one thing. As soon as people started hearing rumblings about this, that was the number one question that I got. It's a lot of fun to race on that old surface. That original surface really makes for a great racy experience. And I can't wait to get behind the wheel of a car again there one day, and I know that that's got a real possibility now with this revival. So thank you all. Thanks for everybody that had anything to do with this. I mean, Marcus, a lot of people are sitting here today, sitting out here in the crowd, but we did have a ton of volunteers that put a lot of effort in to get the racetrack ready for this past month. There'll be a lot of work that needs to be done going forward, and there'll be a lot of people that will be need to be credited for that progress, so that we can raise the standards and we can give the fan the experience that they expect when they come to Marcus's racetracks. North Wilkesboro is going to remain historic, and it will remain authentic, but it will also be modern, and that will be a great thing to see. So I'm excited to see the progress, all the things that will be happening there over the next couple of months, the rebuilding and so forth. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and then to finally go there in May. Just can't get here fast enough. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Dale. As Marcus mentioned earlier, there's a lot to be done to get ready for next May. But we would not be here if it wasn't the vision and the leadership of the legislature of the state of North Carolina. When this opportunity and window opened up, there was, Marcus comes to my office and says, "Hey, I've got an idea." And there's a window that we could make this happen. And they make several calls to the legislative offices and talk about the vision and what's possible for that community. And to see that move so fast it's humbling and amazing. The General Assembly has agreed in principle to provide $4 million in economic grant to support additional improvements needed for the All-Star Race. And the key here is future events over the next several years. We believe big in North Wilkesboro, we believe in Wilkes County, and we believe what tourism that can bring for the state of North Carolina. Thank you. Thank you for your leadership. So don't get lost. It's not just one race. It's a weekend of activity. We'll have an activity on Saturday, things on Friday. So this is going to be a whole weekend package. The schedule of fan entertainment on track. We're still working through that right now, and it'll be released at a later date. But I do want to make this note here, and that is starting tomorrow at noon. If you go to northwilkesborospeedway.com, the first 1,000 people who are able to go there, put their name in, and we ask for a $25 donation. And that money will go to affect the lives of children in Wilkes County. So the first 1,000 people who go and register, they'll be on a preferred list for tickets because we expect this race to sell out very, very quickly. You get information about what's going on with northwilkesborospeedway.com and following all the racetrack's social channels. Thank you. It is a great day for the state of North Carolina and to be on these steps and making history once again. Scott?
Thank you very much, Greg, and thanks everyone again for attending our program today. Just a couple of quick housekeeping notes, especially for our media. We're going to take a couple of pictures with our special guests up in front of this banner. And then following that, what I'd like to do is invite all of our media to come up here to the steps and the platform area. We're going to separate our special guests and give it some opportunity to get 15 to 20 minutes with them to ask some questions to follow up about what you've heard today. So for all of our guests that are seated, we'd ask for you to kind of keep this area clear for us for about another 20 minutes. And then we'll be able to wrap up everything on the back side. So once again, on behalf of Greg, Marcus, all of our guests up on stage, thank you so much for being here today. It's not often, it's not every day that we get to be a part of not just history, but of actually making history. And that's what we've done here today with this All-Star Race coming to North Wilkesboro Speedway during what will be the 75th anniversary season for NASCAR. We're going back to one of the original NASCAR tracks during the 75th anniversary season. Certainly something that we can all celebrate as a sport, as a state, and as an industry. So once again, we're going to take a couple of quick pictures. Please keep this for us, and thank you so much for being here.
Check, 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 check.
No worries. I didn't worry. Yeah, no. You do your thing, man. Guys, right here. This is the speaker staff, Amy, and she is communications president, Julie, Brett is budget. That's fine.
She's a mighty I'm yours.
She's Doug Eller's daughter. Oh, are you? Steve, come here. I heard a lot of You're good. Hey, Scott. Scott, take them out a little bit. There we go. That was good. Yeah. Everybody stay here, please. That was a quickie. That was a quickie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Check,
you
check,
guys
check.
are welcome to come on up, and we'll have a few minutes.
Check, check.
Hey, dude. I was going to jump in and try to improv that.
Chris, you good?
We have a little time, everybody.
All right, well, Dale, I was there last week, and I saw just the excitement on your face and the passion that you showed for North Wilkesboro. What are you feeling today that it has truly come all together?
Yeah, it's a big relief, to be honest with you. You know, the great news just continues to come for North Wilkesboro, and for the Wilkesboro area and the surrounding counties. It's a big day, and I think that the commitment from Marcus and the state is a great sign for a long-term future. And I think that we were able to accomplish and put together something really incredible over the last month with the racing we've had there. But this is such a great sign that there's going to be a real purpose for the track going forward and the property, and that the community can celebrate that, and they'll have something that will be the pride of the community for years to come. Somewhere they can enjoy and celebrate with their families and experience a lot of great things, including racing. So,
At the end of your remarks, you indicated that you would get behind the wheel of a car again. Is there an opportunity for you to race in this All-Star Race next year?
No. I'll probably never run an All-Star Race, but if they ever were to include a late model stock component to anything going on there in the future, that's absolutely something I'd want to look into and be a part of. I had such a great time driving my late model stock car there with the Cars Tour Wednesday that I would love to see the Cars Tour return to North Wilkesboro. I've talked to Marcus about that being a component for the All-Star Week because it certainly needs to be a long celebration. You know, we need people to come in days ahead of time, camping and enjoying Wilkesboro and the surrounding area, and taking in all of the things that make that area unique, and the history of Wilkesboro. And so if there's a late model stock car store component involving that, I'd probably be there for sure to compete. And long term, years down the road, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, it'd be awesome to have the Cars Tour as a frequent stop at Wilkesboro.
What do you think it'll take to keep the race at North Wilkesboro after the race next year?
Yeah, I think the
Going back to old venues?
I think that we had an opportunity to really see what could be done at a place like the LA Coliseum, where you can take a small venue and retrofit it and make it into a racetrack, and how special it can be. And then with Wilkesboro, it really came not any one thing. It came around to being an active opportunity after Dale Jr. and I talked about iRacing and scanning the Speedway in for just digital preservation purposes. But, of course, we heard from people like Terry Parsons that never lost faith. We always had the venue in use. Everybody loved to go to North Wilkesboro for photo shoots, video shoots, commercials, and whatnot. And just the allure of the history and honoring that history of the track, I think, I saw that people hadn't given up on North Wilkesboro yet. And so it made me feel like we can't give up on that Speedway yet. And, of course, seeing all the race fans there this last few weeks has been really inspiring. Having the support from the North Carolina legislature with the American Rescue Plan funding that was approved last fall is a game changer, and having their support also for infrastructure support for the All-Star Race next year, it really is the difference maker to help this be something that can happen.
You mentioned the infrastructure. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
That's a mountain you're willing to climb.
It is. I think the fans worked with us as we worked with them over the last few weeks. In the month of August, we hosted 2 weeks of racing at the Speedway, and fans had a great time. I was there, enjoyed it, saw these amazing smiling faces. Everybody was glowing with just the excitement of being at North Wilkesboro Speedway again. And most people, for the first time, a lot of people have been, came back to it and had been there before. But the community, the hearts, the passion that has gone into getting it ready, and the grace that we were shown by the race fans gave me a lot of hope, and our whole team a lot of hope that we can make this happen. So I'm sure that we'll get it done. It's not going to be perfect for the race, but it's going to be perfect for the 75th anniversary of NASCAR and the All-Star Race next year.
What can fans look forward to for the 75th? Speaking of that, is there anything you can share with us that's special about the All-Star Race?
Well, we don't have any one. Where's it? Check.
Not just North Wilkesboro, but where can we go around our 75th anniversary? The All-Star Race has always been something that we've wanted to rotate. It's been really important for the industry to be able to do that. And then when we looked at our 75th anniversary and what potential venues may be available, the conversation started to evolve around North Wilkesboro and what a perfect opportunity this would be really to embrace our roots and really balance out the schedule for next year. So, it's been, I'd say over the last 6 months, really picked up. And it's been quickly evolving over the last month, which is great. And that takes a lot of cooperation from the state and the local community and, Dale Jr., Marcus. So all that's come together, and I think we're in a great place.
CMS General Manager mentioned future events.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that if things work out, potentially they could have an annual race date?
Probably too soon to tell, but sure. That's with anything. I think we certainly look at going back and embracing our roots. So for us around the National Series, we want to explore how this goes, but we wouldn't be going back to North Wilkesboro if we didn't think it would be successful and a place that we want to look to more than 1 year for sure.
When was like the aha moment?
Man, so that's a great question. I think really within the last 2 weeks, just in terms of like this definitely can't happen. I mean, everybody thought this would be awesome. But can you really pull it off? And a lot of things had to kind of come into place, and logistics. If you're going from Texas, maybe potentially back to Charlotte, kind of around our 75th, originating in Charlotte. But as North Wilkesboro came about, we saw the success in the most recent event. That kind of lit the discussions even further and got us going to where we are today.
Are you concerned? I mean, they've made it perfectly clear that the amenities, it won't be perfect. How difficult was that to sort of overcome to where you go, all right, it'll be worth it to go?
I'm not concerned, because to me it's an experience, and it's part of what North Wilkesboro is all about. Is it going to be the brand new stadium that some of these NFL stadiums aren't, no, but that's not part of our sport either. And I think people embrace it. I think, as Dale Jr. said, it's the experience of being around people that want to be at a cool event, people that are part of the NASCAR family, and I think that's going to build it in, and we'll make it, our own facility, and it'll be a great event.
For newer fans or younger fans, what does North Wilkesboro sort of mean to NASCAR?
Check, check, check.
When was the aha moment for you when you said, you know what, this could work, and we're going to put the power and the effort of the state of North Carolina behind it?
So when we were formulating the budget, this idea came together that, if we help them with a financial push, this could stimulate a significant reaction from the motorsports world. Sure enough, that happened, but it happened even more than we anticipated. To see the community come and gather around the North Wilkesboro Speedway, to be out there volunteering, helping, pushing this to happen. When I went out there in May, it was clear that they were dedicated to making sure that this was a place that would come alive again. And I just didn't imagine being able to have the All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro. It's still hard to believe, even though that we just announced it. But it makes so much sense for that to happen. And when we started talking about this a number of weeks ago, we've done a pretty good job of keeping this under wraps for the last few weeks. I think last night it might have leaked out a little bit. But it was still sort of a sense of disbelief that this could actually work. But when you look at what this could mean for NASCAR, yes, they will sacrifice fans and seats at the race, but the long-term benefit to the revitalization of the sport, I think, luring people back in who may have drifted away, I think this is a win-win-win across the board, and it's going to be good for our economy and for the people of this state.
Awesome. That's all the time we got.
Thank you, Governor.